Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Simple Watch Reviews, where I review simple watches in a straightforward way. Today, one of the simplest watches I own and one I think that every collector should at least consider having in their collection, the CWC G10. So this is a watch that is wonderfully simple, and it is simple in two different ways. The first of those is the design. As you can see, there are no complications here, just the hour, minute and second hands and an incredibly legible dial. And the second way it's simple is in terms of its ongoing maintenance. So this is not a watch that you will ever need to take to a watchmaker or jeweler. It's a watch that is designed to be very, very easy for the owner to maintain. And the reason for both of those simple approaches is that this is a military watch. So CWC are a watch company who supply watches to the British military and have done since the 1970s. The company was formed in 1972 by a guy called Ray Mellor. He had previously worked for Hamilton, the American watch company, who had offices in the UK, and he had negotiated a contract between Hamilton and the Ministry of Defence, the UK Armed Forces. In 1970, Hamilton decided to exit the UK and Ray Mellor was left without a job. So he decided to form CWC, the Cabot Watch Company. That happened in 1972, and since then CWC have been providing watches to the British military. This watch, the G10, is probably the best known of those. So this is their basic infantry watch. I'm going to talk to you about the specs now and also tell you the price. And this watch is kind of the opposite of most of the other watches I've talked about on this channel. This is a watch whose specs do not seem to justify the price, but I actually think that the price is well justified by this watch. I've owned mine for almost 15 years now and I absolutely love it. So let's start with the price. So this watch currently retails in the UK for £300. And those £300 buy you a watch which doesn't have sapphire crystal, has a quartz movement inside, only has 50 metres of water resistance and has a 19mm lug width. Oh, and by the way, you can pretty much only wear NATO straps on this watch. But the specs are only one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that £300 buys you a Swiss-made watch which has been made to very rigorous specifications provided by the British military. This is a watch that's been designed to last forever, and that durability has been tested again and again in combat situations around the world. Right, let's drill into those specs a bit more. So dimensions wise, this is a small watch, as field watches often are. It's 35.5mm in diameter, 42mm lug to lug, and 10.2mm thick, including that large domed crystal. The lug width, as I've said, is 19mm. That domed crystal, which I personally find really pleasing, is not sapphire crystal, it's not even mineral crystal, it's plexiglass, basically plastic. The crown doesn't screw down, and as I've said, the water resistance is only 50 metres, so this isn't a watch you're going to want to go swimming in. The two specs that are a bit more impressive are the movement and the loom. So the movement in this is a high torque Swiss quartz movement made by ETA. And the loom is Super-Luminova, which glows very, very brightly. So I used to wear this watch to bed every night. I would give it a charge under a torch before I got into bed, and all night I will be able to check the time if I needed to. Now, I said earlier that you could pretty much only wear NATO straps on this watch, and that's because it's a watch with fixed lugs. So there are no spring bars on this watch. The bar that passes from lug to lug is part of the watch. It cannot be removed. You can buy clip-on straps that will work on this watch, but as a military watch, it's really designed to be worn on a NATO strap. The surprise that this watch has under its NATO strap, and probably one of the reasons why it only has 50 metres of water resistance, is a battery hatch. So you can use a screwdriver or even a coin to remove that battery hatch and easily change the battery on this watch. I've done that several times with mine, as you can see by the fact that the groove on the battery hatch is a bit scratched up. So all of the design choices that have gone into this watch are focused on two things: making the watch as legible as possible, as befits a military watch, and making the watch as easy to maintain as possible. So anybody can change a battery on this watch. Anybody can change a strap on this watch. And in fact, anybody can remove scratches from the crystal of this watch. Because it's plexiglass, all you need to do is give it a rub over with a silver polishing cloth and the scratches will disappear. As you can see under this macro footage, my crystal was very badly scratched, and here it is after I've given it a bit of a clean with a Cape Cod cloth. It's maybe not quite perfect, but it's certainly a lot better. And as simple as this watch is, it's also beautifully executed. All of the lines of the case are incredibly clean and sharp. The bead blasted finish is perfect throughout, and that dial and hands are simple and plain, but so legible. That dial simply has the military style triangle at 12, the CWC logo beneath that, and beneath that an L to indicate that it has Luminova on the dial. The earlier versions of the G10 have a T there to indicate that they had tritium lume on the dial. And then above the 6 you've just got the word quartz, bold and unapologetic. This is a watch that's perfectly designed for its purpose, telling the time quickly, and yet it also looks fantastic. I think it's one of the best designed, most handsome watches I own, and that combined with the utter focus of the design is why I think every watch collector should at least consider owning one. Here it is on my 6¼ inch wrist. The NATO strap and the large dial relative to the size of the case mean that it wears a lot larger than you might expect a 35mm watch to. Do let me know what you think in the comments. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and also please consider subscribing for more simple watch reviews.